It's no secret that Michael Porter Jr. is a big fan of Trae Young, even believing him to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. However, Porter Jr. is hardly the only one who feels this way, as there are plenty of people who believe that Young's one of the best young players in the game. Pun not intended. But what makes him so special to Porter? Let's find out, shall we? Starting off with unrecognized greatness. The NBA has a whole roster of talented point guards, but only a few of them can be considered to be in the elite category by both fans and analysts, as well as the other players in the league. While stars like Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant may be running the show right now, there are still other players who can not only do great things on the court, but also lead their squads to earn dubs. Trae Young is one of those select few, and even though he may not be the best one out of them all, the Atlanta Hawks star has impressed us with his skills time and time again. Considering his height, as well as the fact that he's currently one of the lightest players in the league, he doesn't really look like the most marketable player of them all. Still, Young lets his performance on the court speak for itself, despite making some enemies after beating his rivals. However, there's no denying that not only is this young star one of the future faces of the league, but also one of the best players in his position in the current NBA lineup. Let's take a look at why Michael Porter Jr. thinks Young is one of the best point guards in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets young star is a big fan of Young, and he's not ashamed of that fact. He even called him a top 3 point guard in the league during his recent interview with Jefferson and Fry from the Road Trippin' podcast, revealing his thoughts about the Hawks star and why he considers him to be one of the most underrated stars in the league. According to Porter, Young is an underrated superstar because he leads the team in terms of both points and assists, even though most people don't consider him to be a top 3 or 4 point guards like he does. However, while both Jefferson and Fry agreed with Porter's take, they also clarified that Young had some tough competition in the game, naming some of the other point guards who could be ranked ahead of the Hawks' talisman, such as Steph Curry and Luka Doncic. There's no denying that Young is a rising star in the NBA. The Atlanta star had a magical postseason back in 2021, shocking everybody by not only helping eliminate the New York Knicks in the first round of the playoffs, but also causing the fallout of the 76ers during the second round. The only team who managed to put a stop to their run was the eventual champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, during the Eastern Conference Finals. However, despite all odds, Young gave it his all on the court. The Hawks also have new hopes to compete this season, since the young star is thriving alongside his partner, DeJounte Murray. The point guard can once again shock the world, and maybe even take the Hawks to the finals once more, but that's still a long shot for now. On the other hand, who are the best point guards in the NBA right now? Surprise, surprise, Young isn't the only point guard in the whole NBA, and just like Jefferson and Fry said, he has a lot of competition within the league. So, for the sake of comparison, let's take a look at the top 7 point guards in the NBA as of right now. First up, we have James Harden. Harden used to easily be a top 5 overall player not too long ago, but at this point, he needs to prove that he still has the juice to even be considered amongst the top 5 guards. While he may not be as explosive of a driver and finisher as he was during his peak, he can still be an effective force, even without being in his peak form. It's easy to forget that Harden's among the best outside shooters in the history of the league, while also remaining an exciting playmaker in the pick and roll. While the Sixers can easily be a championship contender this year, it'll only truly happen if Harden proves himself as one of the league's biggest stars once again. Following up is Devin Booker. Booker's been one of the most reliable backcourt scorers in the league for many years, even though he's still only 25 years old. The young star continues to fine-tune his game year after year as a throwback shooting guard who manages to earn wins through some clutch shot making and his elite footwork. After cutting back on his turnovers and improving his defense since the last season, the Suns will definitely need Booker in order to continue growing, despite some of the bad vibes around the team. However, they can rest easy knowing that Booker will never let them down. Another is Ja Morant. If being known as the NBA's modern-day human highlight reel wasn't enough, his 6'3" frame that's capable of flying over the rim to set up some insane game-changing plays should be more than enough to show his worth. Morant has improved his game in almost every area ever since the last season, and that's not even counting the fact that the Grizzlies shot up the Western Conference standings thanks to his performance on the court. Anyone can tell you that everything Morant does is going to be must-see TV for the foreseeable future. Moving on, we have Damian Lillard. Lillard has already secured his NBA legacy. His many series-ending walk-off buzzer beaters are going to be put in highlight reels for decades to come, and he's probably already earned himself the title for being the greatest player in the history of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, at 32, the only question left for Lillard is less about him and more about the franchise he's known for. Can Portland manage to build another contender before the Dame time finally gives in to Father time? Right now, it's pretty hard to see a path to real success in such a heavily loaded Western Conference. Although Lillard loves to say that he doesn't run the grind, it looks like that's going to be a good thing, since the grind feels like it's going to get a lot more difficult in the near future. Just like Porter said, Trae Young comes in at number 3 on our list. Young came into the NBA spotlight after leading the Hawks on an improbable run to the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2021. Although the Hawks couldn't live up to their expectations in the following season, Young already played his strongest individual campaign yet, setting career-high stats in almost all categories, from points to free throw percentages. Now that the Hawks have given Young the backcourt duo that he's been looking for, thanks to their bold trade in acquiring DeJounte Murray, the pressure is on again to show that last year was no fluke. The penultimate entry on our list is Luka Doncic. Doncic poses problems for every team in the NBA that simply don't have any answers. The prodigious talent has already harnessed the full extent of his powers in the NBA at 23. At 6'7" and 230 pounds, Doncic combines both his ridiculous finishing touches with the deep range of his jump shots and plays with a creative flair that just can't be matched by anyone on the court. He's just too big, skilled, and crafty for even some of the league's biggest and baddest defenders. Right now, it's simply a question of when, not if, Doncic wins his MVP title, and the Mavs are clearly feeling the pressure of trying to assemble a championship-level team around him. And finally, we have Stephen Curry. Curry has spent the last few years wandering around the NBA desert. Not only did Kevin Durant leave Golden State for Brooklyn, but Klay Thompson also missed consecutive seasons because of his injuries. Even Curry himself played only 5 games in the 2019 to 2020 season because of a broken hand. In that time, the Warriors have gone from being the worst team in the league to be one outside the playoffs, all while Curry's greatness bubbled just below the surface. And finally, during the last season, everything began falling back in place. Thompson returned to the court. They gained Jordan Poole in their young draft pick, and they managed to find players who could keep up with Curry's seemingly unnatural talent. He took the wheel from there, leading the Golden State Warriors to yet another historic playoff run, as well as winning the first Finals MVP title of his career with his 4th ring. Not only is he one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he's also still got a lot left in the tank at 34. That's a wrap for this video. Do you believe Young is one of the best point guards in the NBA? If not, why do you think so? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.